This video is a love letter to all the other 30-something-year-old women out there who woke up one day and realized that they have no idea who they are or how they got to this point. You've reached a safe space. Settle in. At the end of last year, I decided to start a video diary to document all my glory days. But as I started going through the footage to string together for my videos, I realized I had no idea how I'd gotten to this point in my life. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I am chronically overwhelmed. And I had gotten so depressed in the last bit of 2024. I ended a relationship that I thought was going to last forever. I lost some friends that I thought would always be there for me. And then slowly I realized I had lost myself somewhere along the way, completely by accident. And you know what? I know I'm not the only one. So if you've also spent the last 30 years people-pleasing instead of self-pleasing and self-discovering, keep watching, because we're going to run through 15 ways to reconnect to self. Okay, let's get right into it. My first and favorite way to reconnect with myself has got to be documenting. And I mean documenting everything. Starting a video diary has been a wild way to look back on my life's highlight reel, almost like a little homemade movie. Call me Steven Spielberg. Another favorite way to document for me is either journaling or scrapbooking, and then getting to read them back is like reading your own book, your own memoir. It's honestly just so much fun. Like, I remember being younger and having so much fun with scrapbooking, and now as an adult, I do have a lot of photos in my photo album that I enjoy printing out and putting them together and looking again at my life like its own little magazine or its own little highlight reel. Essentially, what we're doing is creating a highlight reel for our life here. Document everything. Another favorite way for me to reconnect to self is by taking art classes. And I mean anything creative that gets your hands and your mind to kind of take you to some other foreign place, some inner child space, if that makes any sense. And I obviously, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm really big on ceramics. I like to practice with clay. It makes me feel like my inner child is making mud pies. I've also really wanted to try out some glass blowing classes, I think would be really cool. But essentially, anything that gets your hands moving and gets your brain to kind of quiet down. Essentially, enforce playtime. Playtime's hard to come by as an adult. Another favorite thing for me is solo slumber parties. I really enjoy setting up the projector in my room and pretending that I'm in my own private movie theater. I also really enjoy having solo date nights at home. So, a candlelit dinner and a homemade meal, something that's very sweet and romantic, but for yourself. Pop on your favorite movie and enjoy your night. Big one for me is playing with animals. Absolutely love cuddling with animals. They just remind me of everything that's pure and safe and innocent in the world. And it really makes me want to reconnect, like I said, to that inner child and that playfulness. So go cuddle an animal. Maybe it's your neighbor's dog. Maybe it's just bird watching, but go reconnect to animals because that is reconnecting to nature. One of my lesser favorites is to go on a movie date. I get nervous leaving the house on my own, but I do enjoy the movies. I also really love going on museum dates. Number 9, noticing casual magic. The fact that nature blooms and continues to go throughout its cycles without any permission or any recognition necessary from the rest of the world is something really beautiful. So go and realize those little miracles happening all around us every day. Dance parties. Oh my God, did I love a dance party. My sister and I would always have slumber parties and we'd always set up the music really loud and we'd just shake our little booties off. And it's so important to move the body, and dance is such a fun way to do that. But that brings me on to my next point, which is movement. And whether it's a hot girl walk or a hot yoga class with a friend, just go get moving. Get yourself outside of the house and move your body. Number 12 is more of a fun one, tarot reading. I enjoy doing this just for the sake of the fun of it. I have no idea what I'm doing, but a lot of the time it still gets me to ask really thought-provoking questions, and it really forces me to look inside. People watching in silence is a very special one to me just because it's something I used to do a lot when I was living in New York. I felt very separate from the world happening around me. And I think it's really beautiful to watch people live their lives and to remember that you're not the only thing going on at this moment in time and in the world. Number 14, I do recommend that you see a therapist. I do think that it's also very beneficial and helpful to talk to a professional and kind of get some insight on what's going on in your brain. So if you have the means, therapy can be really helpful. And last, and arguably the most important, feel your feelings. It is okay to cry. It is okay to feel down. Even if you don't necessarily know where your feelings are coming from, I think it's okay to allow yourself the space to feel it. You deserve the space to feel it. Cry it out. You might feel better. Well, I sure do look different without my glasses, don't I? I can't really see you, but I also feel like the glare is probably pretty rough in these. But it's fine. I need to be able to see. And I'm using my laptop light for a little extra light because it's dark in here. It's nighttime, okay? But anyways, I've really been on a journey to reconnect with myself and to find myself and to figure out who I am, what I like, what I don't like, what I bring to the table is a big one because, you know, it's easy to get caught up in your feels and caught up in your head and then start to not really realize not your worth, but in a way kind of like inevitably your worth will go down with it, but just kind of knowing like that you bring something to the table, that, you know, you do in fact have value. And yeah, sometimes that's a hard thing to remember when you're kind of going through it over and over and over again. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining because I do have a very good life. Yeah, everybody goes through something and everyone's experience is valid. So I guess that must include my experience. Point of the story, moral of the story, go ahead and carve out some time for yourself to reconnect with yourself, to kind of get to know yourself, date yourself, love yourself, show yourself a little TLC, a little care. And also have fun. Like, imagine if you were in a relationship with somebody that you never had any fun with. You're stuck in this relationship with you. So make it fun. Make it playful. Make it challenging in all the best ways. But above all, make it fun. Just make it fun. I hope some of this helped. I hope any of this was useful. And if it wasn't, feel free to tell me to go fuck off in the comments. All right, well, you know the drill. Buttons, please. But only if you want to. Okay, that's it. I love you. Good night.